Brazil does not feel like a country in the ordinary sense of the word. It feels like an entire world folded into one vast, endlessly complicated land. From the dense green canopy of the Amazon rainforest to the glass towers of São Paulo, Brazil is a place where nature and humanity collide in dramatic, unforgettable ways. From the rhythm-soaked streets of Salvador to the white sands of Rio de Janeiro, it is a land where rivers are wider than seas and forests breathe for the planet. More than 200 million people carry the weight of a history shaped by exploration, suffering, creativity, and relentless hope. To understand Brazil is to understand how an entire continent learned to speak with one voice. Long before the first European ships ever touched the South American coast, the land that would one day be called Brazil was already alive with civilization. Millions of indigenous people lived here, divided into hundreds of cultures, languages, and traditions like the Tupi, Guarani, Yanomami, and Kayapo. They built societies deeply connected to the rivers, forests, and skies, seeing the land not as something to be owned, but as something to be lived with. The Amazon rainforest, often imagined as untouched wilderness, was carefully managed for thousands of years. Indigenous farmers cultivated crops, enriched soil, and built settlements that supported large populations without destroying the ecosystem. This was a sophisticated world, balanced between human need and environmental respect, a balance shattered in 1500 when Portuguese ships arrived. The arrival of Portugal marked the beginning of one of the most dramatic transformations any land on Earth has ever experienced. The Portuguese did not come to settle peacefully, they came to extract wealth. Brazil's fertile soil was quickly turned into vast plantations, especially for sugar, one of the most valuable commodities in the world. Sugar required labor, and Portugal turned to one of history's greatest crimes to supply it. Millions of Africans were kidnapped, sold, and shipped across the Atlantic. More enslaved people were sent to Brazil than to any other place in the Americas, forced to work under brutal conditions. Yet, they carried with them something that could never be taken away: their culture. From Africa came rhythms, spiritual traditions, food, and stories. From Portugal came language, religion, and law. From indigenous Brazil came knowledge of the land itself.
Out of this painful collision, a new civilization was born, created not through unity, but through survival.
Brazil's path to independence was unlike anything else in the Western Hemisphere. While most colonies fought violent wars, Brazil became independent through royal politics. When Napoleon invaded Portugal, the Portuguese royal family fled across the ocean, making Rio de Janeiro the capital of their empire. In 1822, Brazil became independent, but instead of a republic, it became an empire ruled by emperors for nearly 70 years. Slavery continued until 1888, leaving deep scars that still shape Brazilian society today, before the monarchy collapsed and Brazil entered the modern era as a republic. Brazil today is one of the most unequal countries in the world, and nowhere is that more visible than in its cities. São Paulo is a global financial hub, home to some of the largest corporations in the Southern Hemisphere, a city of towering skyscrapers, luxury shopping, and advanced technology. Yet only a short distance away, millions live in crowded neighborhoods without reliable access to basic services. Rio de Janeiro is known for its breathtaking beaches and iconic landmarks, but behind the postcard image lies a city where wealth and poverty exist side by side. These contrasts are not accidents. They are the legacy of centuries of exploitation, slavery, and unequal opportunity. Yet even in the most difficult conditions, Brazilian culture continues to thrive, with music, dance, street art, and community woven into everyday life. In Brazil, football is not simply a sport. It is a shared national heartbeat. Children learn to kick a ball almost as soon as they learn to walk, and stadiums become temples. Brazil has produced some of the greatest football players in history, and the game has given millions a sense of pride, identity, and possibility. But football is only one part of Brazil's emotional life. Every year, Carnival transforms cities into oceans of sound and color. Millions of people pour into the streets to dance, sing, and celebrate life in all its chaos and beauty. Religion also plays a powerful role, blending Catholic traditions with African and indigenous beliefs to create something uniquely Brazilian. More than half of the Amazon rainforest lies within Brazil's borders, making the country one of the most environmentally important nations on Earth. The Amazon helps regulate the global climate, produces oxygen, stores carbon, and supports more life than anywhere else on the planet. But it is under constant threat from deforestation, mining, and illegal development. The future of Brazil is tied to the future of the rainforest. Protecting it could make Brazil a leader in global sustainability. Destroying it would harm the entire world. This is not just a national issue, it is a planetary one. Brazil is not simple. It is a nation born from conquest and slavery, yet filled with music, laughter, and hope. It is rich in resources, but still fighting poverty, deeply wounded, yet endlessly alive. Brazil is still becoming what it will be, and as long as its people keep dancing, dreaming, and demanding a better future, the story of Brazil will never stop being written. Because Brazil is not just a country, it is a living, breathing soul.